Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Shift Happens, Catalyst Conversations. So yes, we are kicking it off. We are kicking it off in the beautiful city of Barcelona, in the Labyrinth Park, and we are kicking it off with a big bang. We are kicking it off with kicking out your limiting beliefs by using something that you might not be using every day. Because with me, I have a hypnotherapist, Regina, and very soon she will tell you how you can become a better, higher version of yourself when you use hypnotherapy tools. So stay tuned and let's see how we can bring big, amazing change into our worlds. So Regina, hello and very nice to have you here. I'm really amazed to kick it off with somebody who knows so much about the human mind and limiting beliefs and elevating yourself. Tell me, what was the recent transformation or big change that you had in your life? Because this podcast is all about transformations and starting changes. So tell me, what have you done in your life?
Hi, Silja. For me to be on your podcast. Thank you for having me. I think we're always on the path of changing our limiting beliefs, which means that it's important not to think about, oh, I did this one big thing. I think it's more about what is today. You wake up every day and think, what is today that could be my limiting belief? What is today that is not in what I can think or do differently and come out of my comfort zone? I think a lot of our lives at the moment are pushed from everywhere, that there's a lot of fear and a lot of and the fear can be in anything. And if there's a lot of people who are fearful around us, this can also affect us. So I think my first thing is to literally wake up in the morning and think, what can I do better today? What is the one change, one small thing that I can do differently, maybe that I didn't do yesterday? And just getting getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. The first thing that comes to my mind, as we chatted yesterday, and is it's been very hard for me to connect with my body. And one of the main things I tried to do or think was to actually come into meditation. And meditation came really hard for me because it was like, how can I just sit here and be with my thoughts? It's very hard.
Nothing.
Yes. And one of the things I started doing is I randomly found this app, and one of the things that was really helpful was actually just starting yoga. I know a lot of people do it, but this was the first step, and I think it's just to connect with your body, and that was my first step towards the meditation, and it's been really life-changing, to the point that I felt that it helped me so much that I decided to go and learn to become a yoga teacher. But so yeah, this is one of the, sometimes doing these steps may be really scary, especially it's like, oh, but I'm a hypnotherapist, like, am I now changing my career to be a yoga teacher,
Hypnotizing yoga teacher?
Yeah. And actually one of the things came out is actually using yoga as a also path for doing some meditations and helping people through giving them positive affirmations. And I think one of the most inspiring things when you have someone in your room, and when I got to do my own class, it was just so eye-opening that people, whatever they come with the bad mood or whatever, they come in and they're ready to listen, and they're in the state of acceptance, and they're in the state of, okay, what you got to give me today? And they often, show up for themselves. And this is the main thing. It doesn't matter whether you have a full class of people or whether you have one person who comes to your session. It's the mindset that they come with, that they're ready to learn, they're ready to heal, they're ready to change their beliefs, and they're ready to dive into their brain to see what it gives them. And I think that's the main point, is I don't hypnotize anyone. I help them to give them the path that they seek. I'm there to support them on the way. And I think sometimes there is a very big misinterpretation. People are scared of hypnotherapy because it's like, oh, are you going to like push things onto me? No, it's actually we're trying to find out what works for you, what is good for you, and you make the connections, not me with your brain.
It sounds the people who come to you, or the kind of people that you attract, are people who already know something. They're kind of like awakened. They're ready to come inside your world. So you're kind of giving out that kind of vibe that come if you're ready.
Yes, I think it's very important. You need to be open, and I think like world is changing very fastly, and I think people who are open to change, it's very important to come with the I can't fix anything that you don't want to be fixed. So I think it's very important to have a very open mind, and I'm always happy to explain what it all is and how to change your limiting beliefs, but you also need to be ready to see the limiting beliefs. But we use a very nice technique which really opens up your subconscious, meaning that you stop with the conscious mind and you come with this open with your subconscious mind, which usually where all our things are stored, and sometimes you do something and you don't understand why you do it, and the reason for that is usually it's stuck in our subconscious, and it's a very good tool to open things that maybe you don't see or think with your conscious mind, to see what happened in subconscious.
So basically, you're just giving people kind of the key or the doorway into something deeper, into themselves, actually.
Yes, always.
So you are basically, yeah, it's just catalyst.
Yeah.
Like me, you're just initiating, but actually people are the ones who need to do all the work, and they are the ones who need to go down into the deep dark tunnels and explore, because they are basically going inside.
Yes. I think one of the first things I always ask whenever I have a process where I have a discovery call with the person to see if we align, and obviously the more I understand, the easier for me is to help them. And one of the very important things is one of the first questions I ask them is like, okay, after we do the session, we understand the root cause of your issue. Usually it's somewhere in the subconscious. We make those connections, because when you're in a hypnagogic state, your brain is much more open to change as well. So once you understand the reason why you have a certain phobia or something that you can't control, once you understand, your brain makes a new connection. But also once you make that connection, you also need to work on it for that pathway to continue going in that way. And one of the ways is that I actually, after we do a session, I actually do a very personalized recording for the client, whatever they need. I usually also ask what would they like to say to themselves, or what would they like to improve, but also include everything that we learned from the session. And when we do that session, I ask them, you have to commit to listen to this recording. I will give it to you as a little gift to take away home. And you have to commit to listen to 28 days, because that is also commitment that I need from the client's side.
28 days. This is like the lunar cycle, from new moon to the next new moon, or full moon to full moon. So it's basically comes like a full circle.
Yeah, like when you brush your teeth. In the morning you go and you brush your teeth. You don't think about it, do you? But when you try to have a new habit, I will go to the gym for an hour every day. It seems that you have to think about it because your brain is not used to going to the gym every day. And this is the same way. Once you understand the reason why something has happened to you, or why it's also important to make it comfortable, your brain, for the new pathway to lock in. And it's the same. So in the morning when you brush your teeth, you don't think about it, do you? But when you go to this, I have to go to the gym again. And the reason the 28 days is when it takes your brain to make that connection, when it becomes just part of you, rather than something you do against your will, or something that doesn't resonate with you.
So the new way of thinking becomes part of this person who is listening to the recording.
Because we give them the new pathway, which gives them this forever and ever.
So what kind of problems people come to you with? What's the common issue that they have, and they turn to like, please help me, I want to become something, this.
I think recently I've had a lot of phobias because phobias are usually very like, I'm a grown-up person, but I'm scared of to turn the lights off, like for instance, or I'm a grown-up person, I understand that nothing will happen to me, but I am scared of driving on big roads. And very often these things are something that's happened to you, not always, but very often it's something that's happened to you as a child, and it just gets stuck. And as a grown-up, you feel like you can't control this situation. And it's just like your brain doesn't understand, why can't I control this? Because usually something that has happened to you, something shocking or trauma, or it can be as simple as someone said something bad to you. And if it stays in your body, it kind of, once you are in that situation, your brain and your body reminds, oh, this is scary, let's protect you. And automatically, almost, it's like a body function. And that's why you can't control it with your conscious mind, because it's stuck in the subconscious. And I think phobias work really well for hypnotherapy, but it can work with anything. It can work with procrastination is a very big one, confidence. And under confidence, it can be a lot of things. It's confidence, even like public speaking, confidence in, finding friends, confidence, anything. Confidence can be anything. So really any problems that you have, whatever is stuck and you feel that consciously you can't make the change, it's a good way to understand the root cause.
So people who can't understand why they are stuck in something, they should turn into hypnotherapy.
I think it's a very good, and what I like about hypnotherapy is that, people sometimes come to me, it's like, how many sessions do I need with you? And I'm like, you know what? One issue, one session, because we don't have, who has time these days to sit with a therapist for hours and hours and then talking about the same issue all the time? At the end of the day, if you talk about the same issue all the time, over and over again, and it doesn't give you, okay, sometimes you need a therapist, sometimes you need to talk about these things, and it helps you. There's room for everything, but sometimes certain things they're not fixing, and this is where hypnotherapy comes in. It's very targeted, very quick solution to your issues, because you go to the root, you understand the reason, rather than masking it with I'm going to think differently, or I'm going to try to no. You understand, you make the new connection, your brain makes the new connection. And once you understand, it's much easier to eliminate it rather than mask it. And I think that's the key.
In what case would you tell your client, okay, sorry, I can't help you. You need like some kind of other kind of therapy that has like 10 sessions or more. What would be the case where you just refer your client to go to some, to work through the trauma with the therapist, having like multiple sessions? What would make you do this?
I think one of the things is the willingness to change. You have to be wanting to change. And also, I have, for instance, someone's like, oh, my boyfriend is not doing this and this. Like, can I send him to you? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. So I wouldn't take anyone who is coming because of someone else. The change has to want to come from you. And I think that's the main thing. And whatever that is, and sometimes like weight loss or any habits, like eating habits, these are the sessions usually that take more than one, because usually this is probably one of the most complicated. But again, since I've lost over 30 kilos, well, initially I lost 40 kilos, I understand how complicated and how complex it can be. And usually these are the sessions that you would need more than one, because there's more layers. But yeah, willingness to change is the first thing. And that is actually one of the first questions I ask. And that's one of the, like, are you willing to work on this? Because if you're not, then you have to want to
because
change.
You're not giving them like a magic pill. It's not like, okay, I'm going to give you this session, and when you wake up from the hypnotherapy, you're going to be cured. It doesn't work like this.
They do, because they see the change, and because they understand where it comes from, actually they do feel different after waking up. You usually feel the difference straight away. But it's important to continue listening to the tapes, because that also installs it long term rather than short term. And that's the key.
So how do you start new things in your life? How do you get the ideas? Like, for example, you got into this meditation and yoga stuff just because you were looking for some way to calm your mind. And then you got into meditation, and this in turn led to yoga classes, and this led to becoming a yoga teacher yourself. So it starts with something small for you.
Yeah, I really love to deep dive on things. I try a lot of different things, and if I see that it's really helped me, if I truly believe that this has helped me, I really want to dive deeper and understand whatever that is. So in that sense, because yin yoga was really helpful for me, I felt that, wow, this is so amazing. If I can, if I can help even one person to think the same way it's helped me, I've done my job. And yeah, usually all the solutions come from problems. And I think we need to accept that life is, part of it is the problems come up. And it's just willingness to even explore why and what can help me. And I think that's the main thing, is to explore. No one's perfect. I have issues. I wake up and I have issues. I have a bad day. But that doesn't give me, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. And I think usually people who seek these things to help themselves are usually the biggest problems, right? So, and I don't want to use the term problems, but we had to do a lot of changes ourselves to get to the point.
Yeah, I love this saying. Solutions come from problems. So you can, whenever you get like a new problem, you can say, "Oh, this is not an obstacle. This is an opportunity to try something new." It's like, because you grow only when you step out of the comfort zone, and for this you might need some kind of problems, some level of problems, some kind of like, some kind of this stuckness, this yucky feeling, because this way you also develop this urge to get out of it.
I think, like we talked about today, like like how do you, sometimes something like, to make a change, sometimes something really needs to go bad for a lot of people, and I'm hoping that people don't have to go through things and find solutions earlier, but unfortunately sometimes that's the only time when you're able to see what needs to change. So I think just reminding ourselves that we have to be kinder to ourselves, and if we are struggling, whether it's hypnotherapy, whether it's body movement, whether it's any work, I think it's important to also ask for help. And not to be afraid to ask for help. I think we're not alone, and get support.
So hypnotherapy, it works a lot on the mind and the mindset and the subconscious. So okay, once somebody has already worked on their mind, how do you preach from the mind and like the mindset things to actions?
Well, let's be honest. Once the mind makes the change, that's when the change happens. Everything else comes much easier. And I think that's why I always believe that you have to start from the mind before you do anything else.
Yeah.
And because body follows, your thoughts follow, and it's a conscious work with your mind. I think it starts there.
So when the mindset is right, the action becomes automatically, kind of follows naturally.
Yeah.
It's like, it can't go any other way, because when the mind is already like,
yeah, if you make the connection, it's so much easier. And I think sometimes being lost, feeling lost, that's where your mind is not connecting. So it's a very interesting subject, I think, but I still think we need to remember to be kinder to ourselves. We don't always have the answers, and our brain wants to answer straight away. but just being curious and yeah, just taking one step at a time.
So thinking about hypnotherapy for a moment again now. So for you, is it more like this spiritual, like woo-woo, your spirit guides are talking to you? Or is it more like, okay, scientific, I know this is how the brain works, and I'm talking to your brain in a specific way?
Well, the hypnotherapy is scientific. There is a lot of techniques that are used that have been in psychology for many years. So hypnotherapy is actually only a little small part. I specialize in rapid transformational therapy, which actually includes a lot of different techniques, which have been used psychologists for years. And the idea of that is that it's very rapid, it's very concentrated, which means that you see the change straight away.
So that's why it's one session, one issue, and you don't need like multiple sessions.
No.
You just need to keep working on yourself
Yes.
alone.
Yes. No, keep working. I think it's like we would always need to do that anyway, or would want to, ideally, right? But I think the solution is to continue on the path, and I just help people understand what is going on their subconscious level, because consciously we can't make those decisions or understandings when it's stuck in your subconscious. That's the idea. It wants to keep you safe in any way. So yeah.
Do you hypnotize yourself?
Yeah, actually, I love listening to I love before I go to sleep, I always if there's something that's bothering me, I always try to put some such stuff on, because your mind is very open to change just before you go to bed. So, just before you start falling asleep, there's this little window where your brain is very open. Like in the old days, it's like, oh yeah, listen to something just before you go to bed. And I truly believe in that. I think we have to surround ourselves with positive things and positive minds. And I think that's what also makes the change. Because if you're sitting constantly negative, you have to, we have to remember that thoughts are not facts. They're not reality. They're just your thoughts. And if your thoughts are negative, remember, you can always change them. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And I love that. I love that we all have a choice. And we just have to have the willingness.
So hypnotherapy and hypnotizing yourself and listening to stuff, it's all connected to the listening part. So that I guess it can be like perfect for somebody who is like an auditory learner. But what about like visual and kinesthetic? Can you kind of like hypnotize and change your mind with visuals, for example?
It's very important to bring out that even though I say I do hypnotherapy, it's very important. In my case, we actually also do therapy under hypnosis, meaning that we talk about your issues. And that is a very important part. And because you're in that state where you are open for your subconscious, you're very visually, sometimes people see very visually colors, sometimes they only feel things, but they're in the state where they're open to that. And I think it's a very important state of being.
But let's imagine that somebody wants to hypnotize themselves daily. So also if they look at their own vision board, can it bring mindset changes for them?
Yeah, I think once you open your mind for change, vision boards, I think, work really well, because you open your mind for new possibilities. If you work and you have to work on, that's what limiting beliefs are, right? If you live in an apartment, you go to 9-to-5 job, you don't even know that other things are available to you. So I think in that sense, vision board is an amazing way to kind of get out of your comfort zone and play with your brain to get a bit more uncomfortable with the comfortable. No,
Get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Unknown.
Unknown, yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even think that is possible things. Like you don't even know. And that's why I think vision board is already a type of, everything we do is a hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Because if you have a vision board and every day you see what you want to achieve, it's already opening your mind subconsciously to the level, okay.
Possibility.
Yeah, to new possibilities. It's always available. Everything is available to us. We only need to want it.
Want to want it. Yeah. We only need to want it. That's good. And also for somebody who's kinesthetic person like myself, So for me, I need to experience things very much through my body. So would it be good for me to write these new things, the new beliefs that I want to believe?
So usually what I do with clients is when we do a discovery call and we discuss things, I actually, because I do a very positive recording for them at the end, I actually ask them to come and work with me and tell them, okay, what would you like your higher self do, and what would you like to tell yourself? And I often ask them to write me if they're like, after the session they feel that there's something that they want to sell to themselves, something really positive, something that they would like their life to be. What would their perfect life look like? You know, if I would have a magic wand, what would be this one thing that I could fix about you? What would this one thing? And then I asked them to kind of go into the deeper end to see what would be the most positive things that they would like to see about themselves.
So you're using the kinesthetic because they are kind of writing, they are definitely listening to hypnosis and maybe also visualizing some images in their head.
Yes.
So basically using all the different pathways to change.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are there like any kind of special words that can help when breaking through the limiting beliefs and building a better mindset? Is there like any kind of vocabulary that you use, for example?
Well, the first most important part is obviously being positive affirmations, positive, because it's so easy to go into negative, and sometimes you don't want to go into positive, but then actually reminding yourself, okay, I'm going to write something positive for myself, and actually affirming those for myself, even though if I'm not in this state of mind right now, I'm going to do something positive and I'm going to say these out loud, these words, whatever it's very individual as well. I think whatever works for you, I think is always a way to, the main aim is to remind yourself the negative thoughts are not facts, and you can always force your mind to think of positive and good things. And that is the first step you can do to get on the better level of state of mind.
Negative thoughts are not facts.
Yeah.
So positive ones, they can become facts when you repeat them enough.
Yeah, you really try to connect with them. Even on the hard days, try to connect with the positive facts and think of positive things. So one of the things I love to do is when I wake up in the morning, you know, when you're still in that like almost wakey, uppy feely, I love to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And it's a very good exercise to start your day already with positive. Because, and another thing I really try to do is not connect with my phone straight away. I really connect with myself first thing in the morning, because if we connect straight away, we take our phone or we call someone or we start doing things, we forget to connect with ourselves and we give this first power to someone else. We give it away. We don't connect with it. And I think if you have some small things you do, like almost like markers in your life, that's okay, every day when I wake up, I will think 3 positive things. Or you can even write, if you feel like you're a person who needs to write, it's also a very good way to write it through. But I like to think about 3 positive things and really like sit with them and really feel them. And that gives a very good start to the day, and it puts you in the right state of mind. I think it's a very good little hack.
Okay, nice. So who would be your ideal person? What kind of client would you like to have? Who do you allow to work with? Are there like any common characteristics?
People who are willing to change, who are open to change, and people who want to understand themselves more and are open to it. I think
so. It sounds like people who have already done a little bit of self-development work, they're like open to the growth mindset at least.
Yes, I think it's important, but it doesn't. I think people who reach me usually are in that state of mind already anyway, and I truly believe that we attract the people who we're supposed to meet. Even my clients, you know, I learn things from my clients as they learn from me, and it's all energetically, it always aligns for me. And I truly believe that whoever needs to come to me will come, and if we connect, we connect. And that's why we usually have a discovery call, and obviously we see if it works, you know, between us. So it's important.
Because in the discovery call, you're not only You're not trying to convince the person
No.
to work with you. Like also testing out, do I want to work with this person?
And that's
It's
the
like, it's
idea.
the two
Let's have a
ways.
call, see if we connect, see if it works for both of us. But listen, at the end of the day, it's you who make the change, or whoever is the client. You make the change. You're there. I'm there to support you. So yeah, it's an important part.
Okay, so where can people find you?
I am on Instagram, but I also have both. It's awake.hypno is my Instagram, and I also have a website where you can directly book. It's very easy. You can go and have a look, and it's literally calendar there. It's very easy, quick, and it's called awakehypno.com. So, and then yeah, you can always contact me, whatever. And I'm happy to have a chat. There is no obligations, and that's why we always have this free discovery call. It's free because, as I said, the person needs to feel comfortable with me, and usually and safe. And it's very important to create a safe environment for people to feel confident in their changes and yeah, whatever questions they have. Because hypnotherapy might sound really like, woo, but it's not. It's actually it's if I could say, it's like therapy under a very relaxed mind state, where you're more.
Sounds even nicer than the normal therapy.
Yes, exactly. That's the point. That who has time to go do 10 sessions? Come, you can do it really easily, relaxed state, and you get the solution much quicker. Which who has? Because that's one of the big things, that nobody really has time to constantly talk about stuff.
Yeah, so if
Life
you want
is so
to have
fast.
change on the relaxed state, if you want to feel good while you're changing, and because it doesn't have to be like,
No,
forced.
no.
It can be like, I'm just relaxing. I'm going very deep into my subconscious mind. I'm looking at my problem. I'm handling it, and yeah, all chill. So if they want to do that, you might be the person for them. Might be, because you never know before you actually have the call, before you connect, before you see if you vibe with together or what's the vibe between you. Because it's best to just first get to know the person a little bit, and
Yes.
then you can decide and just take a life to the next level. So that's it for the first episode. I hope that everybody is a little bit less scared of hypnotherapy right now, and if you want to go deeper, this is your option. Maybe find out for yourself.